The Giants' master plan has been revealed. John Harbaugh, the rest of the Giants coaching staff, along with their front office, decided to pay a visit to Ohio State's Pro Day. And what's really interesting about that is the fact that John Harbaugh doesn't typically go to Pro Days. But Ohio State's Pro Day was something that was very stacked with a lot of different talent in place. And the Giants contingent that was over there did a lot of talking with some big-time prospects along the lines. And the first one that they talked to was somebody who was the original name when draft talks started to come up about who they might take at 5. And that was Caleb Downs, right? Caleb Downs has been thought of by many as somebody who can be a Hall of Fame type prospect at safety. And look, the safety position in football is very similar to the running back position. When you talk about drafting safeties, you don't typically draft safeties as high as 5. But Harbaugh has said since he's gotten to the Giants, and he's also shown this during his tenure at Baltimore, that he does not care about positional value when it comes to the draft. And he's made it very clear that he is trying to build a winning football team, and it is about best player available, right? And Caleb Downs, he can definitely fit into that. When you go into some of the stuff that Caleb Downs can do as a safety, you look at a couple things here. So Caleb Downs, he played 3 years in college, started off at Alabama playing in the SEC, which lets you know off bat that he is no stranger to top-level football. But, of course, he's also played in a national championship game, won a national championship. Ohio State, one of the better programs in college football. And he played 3 years in college. So as far as what he was able to do in college goes, he racked up 164 solo tackles, assisted on 93 of those tackles. And when you put those numbers together, he had 257. So the other numbers here that stick out to us as a safety in his career: 6 interceptions, 18 yards, an average of 3 yards. He's been an All-American. He was a two-time All-American, Heisman finalist. And the Giants, when it comes to the safety position, and really the secondary as a whole, they're thin. They're super thin, man. The safety position really has free agent signings that, you like to see. And then Tyler Nubin, who had a productive rookie year, but things haven't transitioned into his second year. And while you hope that they might be able to transition over and make the change you want to see, Nubin is a later round pick. And even though Joe Schoen is still here, Nubin is not John Harbaugh's guy. So he's going to do what he's got to do to make sure that he gets the players he wants that'll put this team in a position to win. And that's just something to note there. Other guys that have been spoken to by the Giants were Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles is a guy that really, really stands out with the New York Giants. I mean, why am I saying that? Well, we've got a picture here of the Giants contingent talking with Sonny Styles. But, I mean, Sonny Styles at the Combine really impressed. So did his brother. So that could be another look for the Giants at safety, because that's a position his brother plays as well in the later rounds if he's available, but I digress. But Sonny Styles really, really impressed at the NFL Combine. He ran a 4.46 in the 40, had a 43.5-inch vertical, and this is all while he's standing at 6'5", 244 pounds. So you already keep that in mind as far as like what Sonny Styles can be for you at that linebacker position. But a couple of other things to note about Sonny Styles is the fact that looking at Sonny Styles' stats and what he can bring to like I said about the secondary safety position with the Giants, linebacker for the Giants is not strong either. Not that they don't have bad players there, but they're very thin, right? They made some nice free agency signings there. Micah McFadden was re-signed on a prove-it deal. So you have that in place. But they do need more bodies over there and more guys that are going to be playmakers for you there. What I like about Sonny Styles, first off, he played safety his first 2 years in college before moving to linebacker. Part of that's a little bit of growth, but it lets you know that he's a versatile player. And in his college career, he played 53 games, had 131 solo tackles, and he assisted on 113. So you've got that there. 9 sacks in his career, 1 interception. The Giants need to get to the quarterback, and while they already have a super impressive front, adding somebody like Sonny Styles, who it's possible he might not be there at 5, but if he is, that's a gimme type of player. He fits everything that John Harbaugh is trying to do as far as tough nose, in-your-face football goes. So that's another guy that is there for them. Like I said, they spoke to him, so you've got that as well. Then you also have the likes of another player who is Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese, big-time player for Ohio State as well. Only played 2 years in college, and what he was able to do in that freshman year, 34 solo tackles, sophomore year, 18, assisted on 35 tackles his freshman year, and then assisted on 25 tackles in his sophomore year. He had 6.5 sacks as a freshman. That number dipped down a little bit when he was a sophomore. But he's another guy that could be in play for the Giants at 5. You know what I mean? Very solid player, another defensive player, can do a lot of good things for you. And that's just another name to keep in mind that the Giants, again, it was somebody that they did look at, and not only did they do their due diligence on him as a player, but they spoke with him as well. There he is talking with John Harbaugh. So the fact that John Harbaugh is here, he's picking his brain and whatnot, again, the interest is there. We're talking a lot about defense for the Giants in this draft, and that's another guy that can definitely be a difference maker if that's the route that they choose to go. But we talked a lot about defense. There is another big-time player at Ohio State who could very well be in play for the Giants at 5. You know, we talked a lot about the Giants maybe looking to go wide receiver at 5, get a number 2 wide receiver, especially after losing Wan'Dale Robinson in free agency. And that time certainly has arrived, because a guy that stuck out all year throughout his career for Ohio State is none other than Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate, big-time player for Ohio State. We're talking about getting things done. He's a guy that you know you can count on and you can go to. And it gets scary when you got Malik Nabers on one side and Carnell Tate on the other. It's big time. It's truly big time all day. I mean, you just look at stuff like this. Like, he makes the catches that you need him to make when you have that go-to guy. Now, just looking at some of Carnell Tate's stats, what he was able to do over at Ohio State, were what we see right here. I mean, going off it a little bit, just like Caleb Downs, he was a national champion in 2024. Throughout his career, he played 39 games. He also not only played 39 games, but he had 121 receptions in his career for 1,872 yards. Then yards per reception were 15.5, 14 touchdowns in his career. Then yards per game, 48. He's a do-it-all kind of guy. He's also can rush the ball a little bit. Attempts 22 yards, 11 yards per game, right? A little bit there on scrimmage as well. But another guy that is definitely going to be an option for the Giants down the road. You know what I mean? So that's also into play for the Giants. There's a lot to be desired here. These guys can all be difference makers for the Giants at the end of the day. And you like what you see. You truly do like what you see here from the Giants. John Harbaugh spoke at the owners' meetings, which we'll get into in another video. But he talked about trying to be a winning team. He feels like they're not far off. And this isn't your brand new coach, first time head coach type of deal. John Harbaugh has won a Super Bowl. He's had a lot of winning football in his day. And he doesn't seem like he's slowing down anytime soon. The Ravens didn't make the playoffs last year, but that's because of how tough that division was. And it really came down to the wire, which Giants fans are all happy about that because there's a possibility that they couldn't have got John Harbaugh. But the point is, they're doing their due diligence, and these are all guys that can be true difference makers, big-time stars for the Giants moving forward. What do you guys think about this? Let me know what you got to say in the comments. If you like this and want to hear more, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm Rich Perez, and this is your Giants Digest.